Reaching hell, Jason. I'm here to return the favor.
I'm feeling strange, trapped in the grave. All alone, I rot in my own skin. So serious I say, a choking restraint. The perfect flame lays down in my own name. Girls rising. Girls rising. The stars remain, a deeper to see. A blood field, blinded response. So bitter I cling to the ones that remain. Exiled without reason. The time to kill us, to free us. We feel this, we stubborn. It's clear to bow. We're building the power, strengthening the odds. Yeah, building the wall. Welcome to your demonstration.
People and things are there like something. More.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Spawn Review, episode 10. Rocking and rolling. Sorry we missed last week. I can't remember. Why did we cancel last week? Oh, yeah. I was really busy. Sorry.
Yes.
Last week, I almost took every show off that I did except for your X-Men review show on Tuesday. I did make it to that. Made it to a little bit of the Mask of Phantasm show you did on Wednesday as well. But for my part, my shows, I had to take off because I'm really trying to get down and get this book to the printers and go through all the fun of pre-press, which is not all that fun. I think I'm going to hire somebody else to do it next time around. How you doing, Gooch? Good to see you.
I'm
man.
good. I'm good. I'm excited to be here. I love being on your show. It's like my favorite. I'm looking forward to getting into this book because there's a lot to talk about this one because some things are leaked and some things are happening. So.
And we find some things out that we've been wondering. So I think that's cool. And we'll definitely dive into it. We know we have Sean coming on at some point. I know he's running a little bit late. And we have a new co-host that we're going to have on the show who hasn't actually made it to the show just yet as an official co-host with Zach. But I think I just saw a text that he's not going to make this show. It's all good.
Yeah.
We're going to have kind of a rotating cast of co-hosts here. You know, if you can make it, great. If not, it's all good as well. But yeah, I was really excited, Jay, when this book came out. I was really looking forward to last week because I really wanted to talk about it because I don't want to sound like a simp for Spawn, but we have a fucking show, right? It is what it is.
Yeah.
But damn, dude, do I love this storyline in the main book. And yeah, a lot of it has to do with the Brett Booth art and everything. But oh man, I'm really excited about this story. And granted, maybe I don't read a lot. I don't read a lot of other books. That's just my thing. Like I like the art, but I've really just loved the way that the story is flowing, how the mystery is, and the mystery of these characters that we're going to dive into tonight. So I mean, I know you enjoyed it as well, but I mean, what do you think about this book before we actually dive into the review of it?
I'm with you. This whole storyline since 350, how they're building this new base. And we're all kind of learning how this new world is. Like Earth is now, there's no power. Like people have lost their powers. The portals have closed. We're seeing vampires taking over. We're seeing blood taking over, taking out his enemies as he sat back and was very patient. And even we'll get into it tonight. There's a couple things he mentions tonight or in this book that we're going to review tonight. Mm-hmm. But it's fascinating. Like even some of the characters that were from issue 3 coming up into this book, I love the use of the characters. I love the writing is phenomenal. The artwork it's Brett motherfucking Booth. It doesn't get much better than that.
Booth. That's right.
It's just all blending together perfectly. And I'm excited about these books. Like we've talked about this, I don't know how many times. But going to the comic shop, the first thing I want to get is like the Spawn books because they all are blending in together nicely, and you're getting this great world, and you're excited about what's going to happen because you have no fucking idea what's happening right now in Spawn, and you want to know. It's fantastic. So
it really is a good jumping on point. This issue 350 from then to now, it is really a good jumping on point if you haven't been following Spawn for a while, which I hadn't been. Like I bounced back from about 300 to 320 ish, and then I just kind of like skipped out again. So coming back in from a fresh start and then being dove into this mystery or thrown into this mystery, I've really just enjoyed trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And I love the fact that, you know, I'll say, like, I was never a big fan of how powerful they made Spawn throughout the series. Like, he started getting some just crazy power levels, and I was just like, kind of like, at some point it kind of becomes not interesting, right? You know, like when you're taking on all these different powers and be able to control this or that, tearing him back down to ground level with almost no powers. Like, he's got a little bit, right? You know, just like a little bit of his symbiote and stuff like that still, but, you know, dragging him back down to human level and having him to still exist in this world, I think has been really awesome. And seeing the other characters that are involved, it makes me really want to kind of reach out and read some of the other books that are in the series, which I have started to get a few of them, just to see what they are. You know, I got to start checking out Scorched more and King Spawn and all that. You know, Gunslinger I haven't really paid attention to since Brett left the book, but that's just because I'm a big art guy.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Scorched. I tried to get into it. I wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah.
King Spawn, definitely. I have to catch up. I have to read this book. I have a pile like this of comics, like just
Oh, dude. Yeah.
I gotta read. But yeah, Salmon Twitch is another one I'm really curious about, and Monolith, the 3-parter. But the beautiful thing about Spawn right now is that we're seeing him. Normally with Spawn, he has the answers, or he thinks he has the answers, and if he
Right.
have the answer, he will go directly to where he needs to go to get those answers.
Yeah.
He's in a world now where he doesn't know what the fuck where to go. He is just lost, and he needs to find answers any way he can, and it's almost like he's almost dying doing it. So like I really like you said, the breakdown to bringing him down to almost a human level with this character and trying to work his way back up through the ranks of whatever's going on in this world.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride. And if you guys are watching the show and you enjoy the show and you haven't been reading along with us, I definitely encourage you to go out to the LCSs and get on board. We usually review the newest issue when it comes out, like a week or so after. I think we're going to dive into a couple of the other, not following all the storylines, but I bought the Salmon Twitch, I bought Monolith, I bought Rat City. We're going to definitely check those out and just talk about them a little bit. Might not be as in depth as we do with the main Spawn title, but I know we were just talking about, we definitely have to start looking into the animated series, because there's other stuff I want to do on this show besides just the comic. There's the movie I'd love to review, the animated series, toys, video games, you know, definitely get more in depth as we go. It's hard for me sometimes to pull away from the comics because that's my main love, you know, is the comics. I just want to talk about that all the time. But let's say out of the chat real quick before we get going here. Here on the Steadfast is #1 in the chat, #1 in our hearts. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for being here. We got Mark Penguin in the house. The boys are back. Yes, sorry I made you guys wait a week. I do appreciate you allowing me to take a week off, though, to really focus on some things. Ja Rose in the house. Morning, guys. Morning, chat. Haven't read this issue yet. Got to catch up. You're gonna like it, man. I mean, unless you want spoilers, but you know, you're more than welcome to still chill and check it out. We got pizza in the house. Paulus Arts is here as well. Good to see you, brother. Mama Badger is in the house. Thank you for checking out the show. I appreciate you very, very much. Kayla's in the house. Look at that.
Kayla.
Back from her vacation, swimming with the sharks, you know, which if you guys check out the second block of the comic block tonight, Appreciating Comic Book Art Live at 10:15, Kayla will be back, and I think she's got some videos of her swimming with sharks. So
Of course
it's interesting. I'll tell you that. She's got some balls. I'll say that. Member of the channel, Cosmic Studios, is in the house as well. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. I think that's Edwin's here as well.
Edwin,
hell yeah. Hail to you. It took Brett Booth to get Joe to read. Well, that's a good point. that is a really good point right there.
And thank you, Mama Badger, for the Happy Canada Day. I appreciate that.
Is it today? Or was that yesterday?
Yes,
today.
It's
well,
today,
Happy
21st,
Canada Day, Jay.
Thank you.
Do you feel special? I mean,
no, not at all.
Well,
I do now that Mama Badger called, said something. So
yeah, I almost completely forgot, but all the best to you nonetheless. Awesome One is in the house as well. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. All right. We are going to dive into this issue and start talking about this. if Sean gets here, he'll just jump in as he goes.
Oh, you got that cover. I got this cover.
Yeah. Hold on, let me blow you up here. Yeah. That's a cool cover too. I don't know. Like, okay, my thing is like I wish that they would just have a Brett Booth cover. I understand that he's just
That's what I was
jamming
looking for.
away at the pages and stuff, but I'm just like, all right, if I got to get a cover that's not Brett Booth, I might as well just get like that one. I just kind of thought was cooler than the other one. So this is interesting, and again, maybe this, if Sean was here, he could tell me if this crossover with Scorch or King Spawn storylines or whatever.
Yeah.
But we kind of opened up the scene. It says 2 months ago, and we get a scene with Al, and Cyan is visiting him. And this is actually the first time for me that I've seen Cyan as an adult, or at least I don't know how old she's actually supposed to be, teenager age or whatnot. But I thought this was an interesting scene where she kind of comes and checks up on him, and he's actually gets a chance to sleep for the first time, or sleeping more, right? For the first time in forever since he's been dead. Now that he's more human, he actually gets to take naps and rest and all that. And I thought it was pretty cool. You know, she kind of was saying that she's able to communicate with her mom, Wanda, through her dreams, and that Wanda had a message for Al. And basically was saying, oh, go ahead.
No, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut off, but like Terry and Al were working together in King Spawn.
Okay.
With the throne, and so Terry is like obviously in the hospital. I haven't seen that issue, but I know they're working together, and I know something happens to Terry, and I know she was involved in that series as well. Cyan. It's funny because I was mentioning before we got started, how Cyan has been around since episode 3 or comic book 3 of Spawn.
Yeah.
So like that tells you like, all the way from a little baby all the way up to now she's an adult. And with Terry, obviously Terry's been there, married to Wanda, and so that's Terry and Wanda's child, for anyone who doesn't know. And obviously Wanda was in a relationship, married to Al, so it's all kind of mingled together, and I like how they bring this kind of together here, how she visits Al here and talks about, she had a visit from, Wanda, her mom, saying, don't worry, you don't need to worry about her. What you did was right with the throne. So it's a really strong message. And it's almost a throwback to the very beginning with everything, how he's always been focused on trying to bring Wanda back. And she's like, no, she's gone forever now. She's got her things she's got to do. You need to focus on what you need to do.
I kind of like that because it's been one of the longer running storylines, right? Al and Wanda, and I get it. It's Wanda's whole reason why he came back in the first place, because of his love for his wife. But it is kind of a point where it's like, let's put that either to rest or to the side for a little while. I'm sure she's going to come back in some impactful way, and there's going to be some, big reason for it. But as of right now, let's put it to rest, put it aside. I like when she says to him right now that, like, she's okay. And he's like, what? She made it out of hell? And she's like, I don't know. She's like, but you just said that she's okay and for you to move on. Go ahead.
Well, there is something like at the end I'm going to bring up that kind of maybe ties in with this.
Oh, okay.
So
gotcha,
if you can read what I'm kind of throwing out there.
Yeah, like at the end of the book.
Yeah.
No, I feel you. But I do like how you said, like, it ends. This scene specifically ends with saying, like, you made the right choice, or Wanda, told me to tell you made the right choice, basically alluding to him letting Nyx take the throne of hell.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of cool because from the moment we've been seeing, like, has he made the right choice? Because she's gone silent. Now the funny thing is, we jump right into the scene, which is picking up right from the last issue where they're running away from all these vampires that they were in a fight with, and when Reaper showed up and everything. That was just, if you guys haven't checked that out, go check that issue out. It's pretty cool. But he almost kind of goes right back to, like, did I make the right choice? In present day, as we get back to this scene. And I think I made some notes here. He said, I made some notes here on the scene where Al wonders if he truly made the right choice. He defeated one evil in hell just to let another evil rise unchallenged on Earth.
was just reading
while
that.
he's
Yeah.
at his weakest, you
Yeah.
know, like, so it's
Yeah.
funny. We
Yeah.
go from 2 months ago where he's like feeling good, they made the right decision, then boom, here we go, present, and he's like, damn, did I make the right decision? You know?
Well, yeah, like, going from sitting on the throne, because he could have sat on the throne, to being knocking on death's door here. Like, he's
Yeah.
just basically running from his life. Yeah, it's such a contrast between the two. It's really flipped upside down. And the writing is, again, top notch.
I really enjoyed it. Like, I
Yeah.
really have. It's inspired me trying to become a better writer myself. Like, just reading the story has really, I've drawn a lot of inspiration for this. I mean, going forward into my storytelling with issue 2 and stuff. But I have really loved the pacing of the story and just the
Mm.
slow mystery as it unfolds, you know?
Yeah, I don't even want to say it's a slow burn, because it's not, because it's kind of, I'm going to say this, and I mean this like with the highest compliments.
Yeah.
Similar with your book, there's a lot in there, but it's paced out really well. So
Thank you.
you're following the story and you're invested, and there's a lot of mystery to it. So you're like, no, this can't be the last page, because
Right.
I want to know more.
Right, and
Um,
that's, it reminds me of this, and the way that these issues end on a cliffhanger. Every single issue ends on a cliffhanger, and so far, since issue 351, every issue has ended with a reveal of some kind,
mhm.
of a character or a direction. It's just really kept you wanting. So I mean, yeah, the story has been fantastic, but it's interesting that he's wondering about Nyx. He left on the throne. And neither Nyx or Greenworld at this point has shown their hands in how many ever months has happened since the
Mm.
throne was taken. So here he is in this state, his most weakened state, fighting all these enemies. A new evil has arose with blood and the vampires on Earth, and you have not heard anything from Nyx or Greenworld going forward.
Yeah, being chased down by vampires. That's the other piece. Like, blood is taking full advantage of everything that's happening on Earth right now, on this plane, and wiping out any, like, what is it? He's like 70% of demons and angels have been eliminated. So like, he's and maybe even more. It's probably 75% at this point. So
Yeah,
he's doing his due diligence of capitalizing on something, and because he's a businessman, right? Even though he's a vampire, he's a businessman,
yeah.
and a very good one at that. So like, yeah, you're seeing a lot happening in this, and you're just like, what is blood's intentions? That he wants to rule like this realm,
Right.
this earth, but what is his true intentions? So
And we get a little bit more of an insight towards the end of the book as he's kind of doing his, villain monologue thing. But one thing I've really loved about Blood's character is he does have that kind of that Kingpin one step ahead feel as he to his writing. Like he's
mhm.
a formidable villain right now, especially with Spawn without his powers and most of heaven and hell, or at least all of heaven and hell that we know of so far, without their powers as well. Like he has really kind of risen up to be like this very smart, tactical villain in the series. And I've really come to really enjoy his character.
Mhm. This character is intriguing, the
The
Fixer.
Fixer? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still I'm still wondering like who exactly he is, unless he's just a straight up brand new character. I know like some of these characters seem to be repackaged, the Reaper and another character we're going to see at the end of the book that comes and shows up, which is really awesome. But yeah, the Fixer's
Mhm.
really interesting because he seems to be somebody that doesn't have powers, right? Or did I miss that? He's
No,
just a dude, right?
he hasn't shown anything. He's kind of like the middleman, like the guy that, what's the best way to put this? He's kind of like, the man that represents your company and does all the dealings, but he doesn't do the final say on everything. He's an information man. He gets the reads. He gets all the information that's needed for Jason Wynn, who is his boss. Who, again,
Right.
Jason Wynn is back, and he got killed by, was it Redeemer? He got killed by Redeemer, and he now he's back again, which is
Yeah,
fascinating.
it's cool to see his character back and how he's fitting in right now. And again, I'm not reading a lot of the other titles like Scorch, and I know Sean, if he was here, he'd kind of go over it because I guess
Yeah.
he's a main player in those books as well. But in this scene, he's kind of just monitoring what is going on. And it's interesting because he's having this conversation with the Fixer, and let's see the notes I made here. It says Jason Wynn talks with Fixer. He's closing in on his target and has a clearance to extract but remain undetected. That's the main priority. And what's funny about that is he's kind of trailing Spawn and all them and just doing what he's doing in the woods. He's basically like, don't worry, they won't even know I'm here. As soon as he says that, he runs into like these, I call it the hot vampire chick, because we see on this next page here, you're pretty good looking, like almost, if I'm going to be taken out, I'd be taken out by her.
I was going to say, and Paul, it's 354.
Yeah, 354, Paul.
I was going to say Goblin Queen vibes. Hey,
ooh,
I was just like, oh, yeah.
I love the stage there. Very sexy.
Yeah, this character looks freaking sick. Like, damn, Booth is such a damn good artist.
Dude, he's killing it.
On Twitter, he's posting all these pencils that he's doing, and I'm just like, he's just a legend. He's so good.
He's a literal machine. Like, he really is. Like, I'm just like, does he ever sleep? Does he do anything except for draw? Because he draws these books, and he's drawing all these, Patreon pieces that he's putting up on Twitter every day, and he's doing like one a day. And it's not just like a sketch; it's like these full-on finished, recreations of X-Men covers and all this stuff. It's pretty impressive. But yeah, so I mean, you just kind of runs into, and the funny thing about this, I don't know, but obviously this vampire chick recognizes that the Fixer is one of Wynn's guys, because she even calls him out. She's like, you're one of Wynn's guys, aren't you? And he just right off the bat just starts fighting him and shooting. Like, he's an interesting character. I like it. I like the dynamics being in play here.
Yeah, he's got a Snake Eyes Deadshot vibe to him.
Yes he does.
And I'm just like what exactly is this guy's background? Is he like full military? Is he a member is he a hybrid, but doesn't have the powers? Oh,
right.
What's up, Sean?
We got Sean in the house, the cutest little guy. Welcome
guys.
to the show, brother.
Little guy.
Sorry, I'm late. Can you hear me? I have new headphones. Yeah. Okay, cool.
You're coming in nice and clear.
Good. Jay, Austin, this guy is such a great character. Like, I'm wondering, is he someone we know from the past? Because that's kind of how Rob likes to play.
Yeah.
Or maybe a toy that's been made that hasn't been on the playing field as of yet. But yeah, I want to know all about this guy. I want to know his motives, his mysteries, all of that. He's such a visually cool character. Brett designed the shit out of him.
Yeah, again, his designs of all these characters on this run has been really, really awesome.
Yeah, and his storytelling, chef's kiss.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I know you. I was just going to give Sean a second. I know you missed it at the beginning of the show, Sean, but I mean, we're going through it. We're kind of quarter way through the book right now. But what did you think about about this latest issue? Because again, it's just I really, really enjoyed it, and the ending was phenomenal. Once we get there,
more questions answered. Questions answered, but more questions added, which is a good draw to get me back again next month. Which, like, I'm coming back regardless. But
right, storytelling.
Someone like you, Joe, who's in it for like the art and enjoying the story for what it is, it's definitely pulling guys like you who aren't, I don't want to say everyday Spawn fans, because you're a day one, like maybe somebody that's just picking up this run for the first time in a while. I thought
it's absolutely fair. Yeah, no, it's absolutely fair. Yeah,
it's so cool. Like, not Angela.
Not Angela. Yeah. I still like that name. I still like the name. But I will say we're about to spoiler territory, but we are about to get into finding out who she is in this next scene, which is is kind of cool. But I still do like the not Angela. I even made that in my notes. I got my notes here. It says for scene 4, it says Spawn tells not Angela that they need to find cover because while they are in the open, they can still be hunted. I was just like, not Angela. Hilarious.
Nice. That's a vicious shot of Spawn on the right page, last panel.
Yeah.
Like, that's menacing. Like, it's got that Wolverine, Batman kind of. He's about to fuck shit up. I'm getting like a little bit of Darkman vibes, just the way.
Oh, good call.
The way Greg and Brett and Adelso noodled out the facial marks, if you will.
Yeah.
I get a little bit of Darkman just because of that alone.
And it's got like, yeah, the design that they're doing on the face now, like he always had rot going on, but I feel like now they're going for a little bit more realistic rot because he's more human than he ever was before, you know?
More blood, yeah.
Yeah, more blood, just his face is decaying more. But yeah, that's a wicked shot. I think I used that for the show banner. I liked in this scene though, like he's kind of, what are my notes on here for scene 4? Blah 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 blah. Not Angela. Give me honey. Okay. He directs her to take a road that leads to the city where he has a place to hide. And then he takes a second to assess his wounds, then asks her who the fuck she is. I love the last line. Is like, who the fuck are you?
Right.
And why do you still have your powers?
Yeah. I when we get into the next page, the next set, we get a lot of answers, but I mean, it still pulls you in because now you're like, not only are you like concerned about what's happening at that moment, being chased by vampires, now you're getting information that you've wanted for the last 3 books, and so or two books actually, really. And so now you're completely invested in the story. So now you're like chomping at the bit, like, oh, is she going to answer? And then she's like, now's not the best time. And it's like, damn it. Like,
that's what I thought too. Like, here you are in this big ass chase, and then she's been kind of like avoiding the question for as long as she's been in the series so far.
Typical woman.
Like, and they just right now he's like, who the fuck are you? Why do you have powers? She's like, oh, my name is Naira. And like my parents are on both sides of this war, so essentially she's kind of like a hybrid is what she basically says here, or at least what Spawn is kind of taken from all that. But apparently this character named Naira, who still has her powers,
Lyra,
sorry, is it Lyra?
Lyra,
Okay, that's
Lyra.
I can't fucking
Lyra.
spell people.
Lyra.
Okay,
I don't know about that, but I'd like to get inside her.
Still hot. I'm wondering what her face actually looks like because she keeps it covered all the time. Maybe she's horribly disfigured, but I still think she's pretty hot for right now.
Yeah.
But apparently she's immune to all the dead zones, which is the reason why she still has her powers. Pretty simple. So there's the answer to that. Like this mystery that's been building up over the last few issues. Her name is Naira. She has her powers. Her parents were on both sides. Now I don't know if that means one was an angel, one was a demon. Or one was a vampire and one was a something else. That hasn't been made clear just yet.
You're doing a gooch. It's Lyra, but I mean, because that's normally I would screw up the name.
Oh, did I screw it up again?
Lyra.
Jeez.
Yeah, Lyra, because it's a Greek.
I typed it in wrong, guys. That's my bad.
It's a Greek name that because I looked it up and it's based upon
Lyra,
the sirens and like playing music and drawing in the gods. So interesting name because she's a hybrid. I'm assuming either the father or the mother, one of them had to be part of heaven.
It's funny too because when Brett was on the show and we were talking about this character design, he said he gave her the halo when she first showed up that the angels had in Gunslinger, which I missed that. So that didn't dawn on me when I first saw her character. So I'm assuming, either her mom or her dad was an angel. I'm just taking that from that. Would that mean that the other one was a vampire, or was the other one somebody from hell? That's a mystery. We still have to find out. But we got Carbon Dioxide. Member of the channel is in the house. Good to see you, brother. Also, FSG or FS Gaming.
How's it going?
The new arc has been fantastic. Absolutely. We also have Sheldon Martin popped in here.
Yeah,
good to see you, brother. A member of the channel, as well as Paul Acevedo jumping in as well. Good to see you guys. Thanks for checking out the Spawn review episode 10. We were looking at issue 354, which was fantastic. I'm hoping that everybody is going and buying these issues and reading along with us and just diving in this conversation. If you guys have, I want to see in the chat what you are thinking of this series. No spoilers just yet because I want to get to the end of it if you have read this issue. But what you're thinking so far, because this has been an absolute blast for me.
This is only her 3rd appearance, and we get those answers that she's a quote-unquote hybrid.
Yeah.
Like typical other comics would draw that out for maybe years.
Right.
It's, again, you answer this question, but what's the questions behind that? Like we were talking about, what were her parents? What do they have to do involved in all this? So, I'm loving that, again, we're getting quicker answers, but more mystery added to this. It's almost perfect.
No, it does make sense, because at first I was like, damn, that was quick, because she just outright says it and, like, you know, basically gives her entire backstory for the most part. But now it's like, all right, so who are her parents? Like, now that's a bigger mystery going forward that we can wait to be revealed. It's like, who are her parents and how does that fit in? So yeah, we got a little bit of an answer, but still questions with this character. And just let's hang on the art for just a second. I know we're doing the story review and everything, but we're gonna hang on the art for just a second and enjoy this beautiful double page spread here. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous.
Jeez, man,
Sorry,
insanity.
Jack, go for it.
No, go ahead, Sean.
I was studying this double page spread for hours. Like every gesture, every
I love it.
I'm like, what can I take and put into type 1? You know?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
You know, like I'm just like not that it's just a great story. Like this is great learning how to tell a story visually, characters, gestures, the proper beats, close-ups, pull-outs.
Pull out it, buddy.
It's a perfect fucking comic book, and we don't have many of them these days.
It really is. Go ahead, Jay.
You know what I really appreciate about this page, and this is going to sound silly, but the diversity in it. Like you have your typical vampires, but they throw in some vampires that are, you know, have some ethnic, you know, spice them, and
like the vampire with the throw. You can just say it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I mean, but it's like I love it. Like it just shows how big this vampire nation is. Like there's no
how much it spread since they started taking over Earth.
They're not blind to any other race or anything. Like they don't care. If we need you, we're gonna like get you to join our army.
And that's kind of the thing with vampires. You know, I mean, just the lore of vampires. You turn whoever you turn. You know, some people you just kill and drink their blood, but you know,
it's so easy to sit there and just draw like that one like sitting there right above Spawn on the left, like 11 o'clock there. It's so easy to draw 20, 30 of those characters, right?
Gotcha.
But you know, you're making this world of vampires that are just from all over coming at them, and that's what I appreciate the most in this double page, because you're just like, damn, like this is awesome. Like you're seeing like everything into this book. Like they're not,
and it's not forced.
No,
right?
No,
I think that's really our biggest. Like I'm sure I'm gonna get stones or people adding me. It's okay. I'll check Twitter. Like diversity is not bad. Forced diversity is what everybody's kind of issue is.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure she's like hundreds or thousands of years old, you know. So like, give her flowers.
Well, some of these characters have to be new. I mean, if you took over 70%, you know, and how many ever months that they did, you know, you got a ton more vampires for the vampire army.
I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to say she's from like the 60s or 70s. I'm just going on a limb.
70s, probably 70s. 70s would make sense. Yeah. I think this is actually kind of a cool scene. You get a kamikaze vampire. Yeah, and just the way the scene plays out here is really cool, because so far they're holding their own. They're on this really cool chase. You know, Spawn's blasting and knocking, you know, shooting vampires out of the sky and everything, and then just this vampire out of nowhere right in the front, kamikazes right into the front of the bike, and ends that chase real quick.
Yeah.
Well, because like when you first read it, you're like, okay, like is that just a coincidence? Is it convenient for the story? And then, but as you read the story, because like when you're reading it, you're like, oh, okay, you know, that's a little convenient that this is kind of happening to make it more dramatic. But when you read into the book more, as the next couple pages, you understand it a lot more. You flip back and you go, okay, I understand this a lot better now, because there's a mission going on, and I like there's so many layers to this book that I appreciate the series. When you think they're just going to go simple, it also comes back like a page or two or a book later, and you're like, oh, that wasn't just like a simple little convenience for the story just to move along. It was intentional, and you're like, damn, that's really plotted out nicely.
Yeah.
So
I also like that the scenes coming up here again. So it's kind of playing on that. I don't know if it's a trope or not, but the Walking Dead trope of the villain always seeming to get the upper hand over the heroes of the stories, or the protagonists of the stories in one way or the other. And with Spawn without his powers, it makes the scene even more powerful about that we're about to go into. But before we do that, Sheldon Martin said, "How would an angel pick up a vampire? Look, you got fangs. I got feathery wings. Let's bang." That's probably exactly how it was.
That's how I would do it.
Yeah, that's how I would roll. Yeah,
give me that.
Yeah. And for that, you get. I'm gonna do that again. There we go. There we go. First one.
Hey, can I ask you both this, like as storytellers and creators yourselves?
Thank you. Sorry.
Just look. Hey, I don't like to brag. With the page on the left, like, see how there's so many stacked panels?
Yeah.
Every beat fits. It's small, medium, big, out. Like my storytelling and thought process has changed, or thinking wise, studying Brett's art more and him doing stuff like this more and more, because you could tell a lot in a little by telling more together. You know what I'm saying?
There as a artist, writer, storyteller myself, like I've taken a lot of inspiration as well, just reading the news, like even Gunslinger, but reading his entire work, right, through Gunslinger, through what we are now, Spawn 354, and just the way that he tells the stories with a lot of small figures, just kind of bouncing out. He changes the camera, he pulls it in, pulls it out, you know what I'm saying? Changes different angles and stuff, but the beats, like you said, this page on the left is really good. It just, if you just follow it, there's not a lot of script on it, so it allows you to go through the page fast, which I think works really well because it is such a bam 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 scene of things happening, and that keeps that energy and keeps the speed of that scene going. So the impact of seeing the expression in her eyes on panel 3 as she sees now this vampire coming through and just wrecking the bike, to the point where boom, the next page they're on the ground. Like I don't zoom in on this panel or anything, but the first panel of the second page they're on the ground wrecked, and now the vampire is just basically, this is their victory, right? They just kind of walk over, grab them, pick them up, and now they're at the mercy. And now this is where they call Blood on the cell phone. And now he's going to go into kind of his monologue here, which I think is really cool. And Jay, I know you're going to probably want to jump into kind of what he says here, so I'm going to let you, go ahead and take the floor.
Well, I want to piggyback on what you were saying there, and I like what Sean brought up, the heartbeat of that page right there. We talk about on the X-Men 97 series how the animation, how they've taken the comics and made it in a way that it's like you're reading a comic, but you're watching animation. This book is this book series so far is like a book, but almost feels like you're watching an animated episode, because the transitions are just seamless and effortlessly, like transitioning beautifully into this story, and you're just like, wow, like because when I'm reading it, like when I was reading today, I'm like, this would be a kick-ass episode for animation. It'd be easy. It'd be so easy to translate it into an animation, and so vice versa, like with the X-Men, how we were talking about how the other thing. But yeah, this part right here, when he pulls up the cell phone, I love how he brings up the modern age era, bringing up a cell phone using FaceTime, and Blood saying like how patient he was, and that you guys are so rushed to take over the throne and to do your bits here, and I was able to just sit back and just have discipline and just soak it in and then attack when needed. And it's just incredible, like this sequence right here, like Sean, if you want to touch on it, because you probably saw this and you were like, holy shit, this is perfect, because it's the panels are kind of flipped now, where you got the more of the vertical lines, and it just paced out really nice.
Look, I wish I saw this book 2 years ago when I was plotting out Type 1, because I have something kind of similar, but not as smart, believe me. But yeah, this is great storytelling. Like you're saying, using FaceTime. You know,
Yeah.
that's awesome. We could talk to people in these little boxes, and now we can add it to our comic books where like you could talk to a villain or a hero or what have you. And I love the beats how on the second row, you know, too small, a little bit bigger with the next two right, and it gets kind of bigger, like dun 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 dun, like with the faces.
I was gonna say, so I got
the camera coming in.
2 points.
Camera zooming in. Yeah.
One about the storytelling, and one I forgot to bring up something earlier, so I'm gonna bring that up here in a second. But yeah, the storytelling is great here because the monologue of Blood is basically just, I don't necessarily know if he's proclaiming his victory, but he's basically gloating, right? You know, and he's basically, you know, he's got Spawn in a vulnerable position. And he says something on the earlier page, like, actually, I think I wrote it in my notes because I thought it was, where's he at?
Living under the heaven and hell. Is that the part you're talking about?
Yeah. So Spawn, how's it feel to be the inferior one? You know, and he was relating to the fact that, you know, the vampires have been the inferior ones living under the heaven and hell for so long, and now it's absolutely reversed, and he's taking all the opportunity, you know, for it. And he's basically says, you know why you were never able to take, and none of you were able to take the throne, because you were so impatient. And basically he starts talking about like, you know, it was him or it was them that sat back and waited for their enemies to beat themselves. And when the opportunity arose, boom, they took it, and here they are. You know, like, so all of his plans completely worked out, and now he's in the position he is. Storytelling wise, this scene's going back and forth between Spawn and Blood, and I love how eventually that you get closer and closer, more intense. Cameras being brought in onto the faces, and to the point where the last two panels, split panel, Spawn's face and Blood's face, as this big scene that's about to happen. You can kind of see what's going on in the next page is about to happen, and he's basically gonna flex. He's definitely gonna flex on Spawn for a second and be like, you know, we're gonna go into this kind of Negan Walking Dead territory.
Yes.
But before we do, did you realize that in the scene when was it Lyra? Is that what we said? Lyra and Spawn are on the bike earlier, and he's asking her all the questions. She does drop this one line that says, "But this isn't about me. This is about your friend. And she goes to say that, and it gets cut off when the other vampires attack them. So she's talking about Eddie, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so something has to do with Eddie, I'd imagine, which this scene is kind of confusing to me, but we'll kind of see. So going into this scene, Blood basically says, Eddie is the only servant I have, that you care about. And because of that, he basically tells Eddie to kill himself. And he is under this control. And he basically does. He takes his own scythe and starts just jamming it into his chest. Go ahead, Jay.
No, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to talk about, because like in the prior pages, we saw that vampire go head first into the motorcycle. So when you see this part where Blood has such a chokehold on everybody that is with him,
control,
like they all drink the Kool-Aid. They're all part of this vampire cult. Like, he has full control. There's no resisting. So when he says like he's gonna kill yourself now, Eddie, and he's just literally taking this huge axe and just plunging in his chest, slowly killing himself. And it's like, that's how much power Blood has right now.
Yep.
Like, that is intense. That is very. It's,
it is next.
I'm glad you brought up. Yeah, like I'm glad you brought up Negan, because it's very similar.
Yes,
Negan
vibes right off the bat.
Oh, totally. Very intense, because now you're seeing Spawn, who saw this Eddie as a child, and then the book prior, how Eddie was saying, like, you forgot about me, you didn't bother coming back and checking on us, you just left us there. Now you're seeing, not only does he have guilt for that, now he's seeing him killing himself because of Blood. And this is like hitting so many emotional levels and psychological levels with Al, that
definitely
it's
psychological.
Oh, it's deliciously good. It's really, really good.
And going back to the scene we were talking about earlier, where Lyra basically says, but this isn't about me. Your friend back there, he's boom, and then they get cut off by the vampires. But in this scene specifically, it's so cool because so Blood says, he means a lot to you, doesn't he? But you making his life worse oh, but you keep making his life worse. Watch. And he says, Eddie. And Eddie says, yes, Lord, kill yourself. And then boom, he just shoves it into his chest,
Yeah.
you know. It's hey, I think we got Zach, and well, there he is.
Yo.
What up, brother?
Oh shit, what's up, y'all?
What's
How you
good,
doing, man?
I thought I wasn't gonna make it very last, like.
Nah, glad you made it. We're about to get into the
Good.
thick of this issue. Since you just jumped on, what do you think? We haven't got into the end yet, so without spoilers, what did you think about this issue?
Dude, I don't know, man. I have I got some mixed things about it because like when I read the end of issue 353 and I saw I saw Win at the end, I was like, yo, get the fuck out of here, bro. There's no way they're bringing him back like that. And then I saw this and then I was like, okay, this is an amazing follow-up, but I guess I don't know, man, dude. After issue 350, anything can happen. Anything
sure.
can happen.
It seems that way, right? Like it just seems really wide open. And Sean, so Win has been around for a little bit, right? Like he's in the
for at least they brought him back maybe 2 issues ago in Scorched. He captured that team. He was essentially building his own kind of like overkill army.
Okay.
They have since, I don't know if I should spoil because the last.
Go ahead. I mean, because we don't really cover a lot of Scorch on here, so yeah, go ahead and fill us in a little bit.
So the good guys prevailed. They all escaped. And now he's kind of like, Win is kind of like, fuck. Like, now what do I do? But his assistant is taken over by a female violator. What's her name?
Oh, really? I didn't know there was a female violator. Interesting.
I want to say vibrator so bad, but I know
vibrator. That should be the name.
It's a female violator. It's like a sister, I believe. Like she looks like it, but yeah. So she's taking over his assistant. They killed her. Spoilers. But yeah, that's a good book. They got Haunt in it. I love Haunt.
Isn't there 2 new characters, like a brother and a sister, that they're trying to take that join the team during Scorched? They left the lab. They left the facility.
Yeah,
Scorched.
There's like a female Haunt looking thing in one of the tubes, if you will, and they're like, "Well, don't worry about that later on." Essentially, that's kind of where they're going for that. So they're venomizing almost everybody, which my conclusion kind of seems like is what they're going to be doing with that.
Nice. By the way, guys, we got 93 people watching all together. I think we got 70 some over on Twitter, 79 over on Twitter. We got 12 here on YouTube. Good to see you guys wherever you're at. Please hit the like button. If you get a chance, come over to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel. Definitely help us grow, but if not, share it around. We really appreciate it. We got YSA in the house. What's going on, brother?
Nice.
Back from an evening out, back to comics. Hell yes, this is the place to be. This is the Comic Block, Mondays at 9. I want to read this page, and I'm not the best reader in the world, so be patient with me. But I love the scene, you know. So we just come off of the last page where Eddie is impaling himself on this axe. And Spawn reacts. He says, Eddie, Blood, stop this. And Blood says, no, I don't think I will. You see, I've only got one servant I can hurt that you care about. So remember this moment, Spawn. And he says, because things are going to get so bad for you that today will seem like a happy memory. I love that. You know, his plans for Spawn is to absolutely fuck up his life. And it's going to start with watching him witness the death of a beloved friend of his and a character that's been in this book. So this is, like I said, it mirrors like Negan coming into The Walking Dead so much in this scene, especially with just Spawn, retained like he is, powerless to do anything. And not Angela Lyra there is just kind of reacting in the same way, like just horrified by it all or whatever is happening. But I love that, like for just a little bit of monologue, that aspect of just a psychological, emotional power that he was holding over Spawn in this moment. And the reaction that we see out of Al of seeing Eddie killing himself, I think it was just great. This scene was phenomenal to me. I loved it.
You know the thing with Win, that I was just, and I guess it's an up for debate, kind of conversation with, because when you look at characters like, for example, like Spider-Man, right? You have characters that have been around since the time that he was like in high school, just fighting crime for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And Win is one of those characters that's been there since day one. And he's just a human, right? And he's survived in like the world of Spawn, where I'm like, can that be like, is that even possible? Because I knew he was such an important character then, all the way up to the series. But when I
Mm-hmm.
saw the reveal last issue, I was like, damn, he's still around. How is that possible? Like, he didn't die. Like,
Well,
They haven't gotten into it. Sorry, Jay, go for it.
he was taken over by a demon, and I can't remember which demon that entered his soul. That I can't remember who it was, but that's how he died originally, because the Redeemer came down and killed him on the rooftop, and then that was it for Win for a while, and then bringing him back. So I'm just curious how they're going to play that up, because like in King Spawn, they touch on him a little tiny bit, not much, but I'm just curious about like how they're going to explore this, how he came back, and we're going to get a background on him and how he got, like, he's always been in power, but like how did he have this like big time surveillance and everything else that he's got going on? Like,
what makes Win such a formidable character, being just a human for the most part. I know he's kind of crossed over the different things over the 300 some odd issues that he's been in, or just been a part of the story. But that he was pulled into this world because of Al, because of Spawn, because of his relationship with Al Simmons. But he was able to navigate the world, and still maintain some kind of this like powerful figure in the entire series. And to the point now where he is a formidable opponent in this war that is going on right now. Like, the vampires know about him, and he's just kind of doing his own thing. Go ahead, Zach.
It's funny you said that, dude. I had to chuckle because he's the reason why Al Simmons is in hell.
Yeah.
He's
Jason Wynn started it all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's all Wynn's fault. All this could have been avoided if he never took Al out. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of wondering, like, again, like when we had Thomas on a couple of weeks ago, he said we won't be seeing Nyx for about a year.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
What does she have to involve with him coming back, if anything? And will she bring his boy back from quote unquote the dead? Because like our emotions are fucking getting torn. Like we love this character. Like we grew up with him, and he's visually awesome. And now he's just a puppet that just killed himself.
Now it's gonna be interesting if he's actually dead. Like when the next issue hits, is he actually dead, or is he kind of hanging on to life or whatever is going? It'll be interesting when we go forward. So skipping from that scene, which is very emotional, we jump back to Jason Wynn here for a second, and they pick up this force, this object, this person that's kind of flying through the sky, and they basically say a hostile has entered the area that Spawn and all the vampires are at right now. And Jason is asking, he's like, do we have eyes on the ground? Now here it goes back to the beginning of the issue, so to speak, where the Fixer all of a sudden, who ran into the hot vampire chick and her cronies, is gone. And all we see is like the remnants of part of his mask and a bunch of blood on the ground. So we don't know what happened to him, but it doesn't look good, right? At least that's what they want us to think. And then we get this reveal that you're thinking to yourself, all right, not doing any spoilers till we get to the next page, but were you guys as surprised as I was?
No, because
you weren't surprised at all.
No, hear me out. Hear me out.
Like, you get everything.
No. It's not that. It's like,
okay,
I'm not surprised because like Todd does this type of shit. Like this is stuff he's been doing since Jump Street, or a couple years in. But like I'm almost surprised that I'm not surprised at things. Like when I do get surprised, I'm like, fuck you, that's awesome. But like now it's like, okay, that makes sense. That's where this has been for now. Like we're gonna fight. Like, yeah. it just kind of makes sense. Like I don't know. Like I'm a fucking savant kind of. I'm like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Boy, I'm a savant when it comes to the Spawn story. Without spoilers, Jay, I mean, were you surprised? Because I was floored. I was like, oh hell yeah. That was my response.
I was and I wasn't.
See?
Damn it.
Because
well, you guys actually read the book. Maybe that's the difference.
Yeah, because
you know more about the series than I do.
Well, prime example is seeing Win. Like you're seeing a character that's already been killed off, and he's back. You've seen a couple other characters killed off and come back. So like just based on this series where it's going on bringing back a lot of, I don't want to say nostalgia, but a lot of characters that had a lot of heavy heartbeats in throughout the series are kind of coming to the forefront again. So I was, but I wasn't. So it was just like, okay, that's cool.
I think I was surprised at who it was. Not that, like, so Halo lore says no one really stays dead in comics, especially in the Spawn universe, unless you really piss off Spawn. And I get that for sure.
Yeah.
But like, I was just, so every issue has ended with this really cool character reveal, right? And, it was really awesome when the Reaper showed up, right? At the end of 352 or whatever it was. And, Lyra showed up at the end of 351 or whatever. Jason Wynn, the last issue.
Last issue. Yeah.
And so it was cool because I knew I was all right, we're getting a character reveal, but I was actually surprised at who it was. Zach, no spoilers. Were you surprised, or am I the only one on this fucking panel?
I gotta say I was a little bit too, because
okay, good, thank you.
No, it's one of the, like, I have my dips, like where I dipped in for the series for a while, then I dipped off, and then I dipped back in.
Same here.
Like for me, I jumped back on the series when Jason Sean Alexander jumped on in issue like 276 to 77.
Okay.
Because he brought in like a whole different vibe to Spawn that I really, really liked. And the story for the longest while was really fucking dragging out. I was like, oh man, I'm not feeling this.
Yeah.
And then when the team for Jason's came in, they were kicking ass. And then that's right after that, the road to 300. And that's 300 is not only just a game changer or 301 in terms of just an indie comic breaking the world record outside, passing Cerebus.
Right.
It's also the fact that he brought the story back. It had its ups and downs, but now it's like it's going up. It's gradually going up.
Yep.
He hasn't slowed down. He's amped this shit up, and I think the war between heaven and hell, I think it's like coming to a closure, but it doesn't stop there. He's gonna drag the fucking thing out, and he's got even a bigger story that I think all of us as fans for Spawn is really going to appreciate. So that way it's the final curtain call that he can lay to rest.
So, okay, no, it's not on this page. All right, let's get to the next page. Let's get to the big reveal here at the end of the issue here. So this person coming in, boom, lands, big old, Dragon Ball Z kind of fucking entrance there. Definitely got, Brett leaned into his like kind of anime power.
He loves his Dragon
here.
Ball,
And so this person that's talking to Win, that's this monitor and everything, says, here we go, for the first time, this thing seems to be from Green World, and this is the first time that Green World or Nyx or anybody has shown up since issue 350. And so here it is, and you can't really see it on here, so I'm just going to read it because it's just classic, like just classic comic book lines. The character says, sorry for the intrusion, everyone. Just wanted to introduce myself. The name's Jim Downing.
Yeah.
Boom.
Patient 47.
Yep.
So, there's a couple things with this reveal that I wanted to touch on. When we talk about Lyra, she's a hybrid. Is she Angel and someone with the Green World? Is that the hybrid that we're looking at? And the second part to this, oh man, I lost my train of thought with the Green World. Wanda, sending her messages to Cyan.
Cyan.
Is she in the green world now making plans? Because she says she has plans moving forward that she needs. So is she part of the green world? And now working, and so now that's what we see Jim Downing coming down, and it all starts to fit together a little bit.
Now let me ask you guys a question. By the way, Paulus Art says reminds him of Roca for a bit. It does, and we know that Brett Booth is a huge fan of Kenneth, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a little bit of a Roca in inspiration there. But when it comes to Jim Downing, because I know he was Spawn for a while, right? He wore the symbiote.
Yeah.
I actually did not like that run.
I was just saying I missed that run. I wasn't reading at the time. I just know it happened.
This version, and he was like
the reason why I'm so surprised, and I'm wondering if it's just because I didn't read all the issues. Has he ever had this power set before? Is this
like
brand
this?
New? Yeah, is this brand
Nothing
new to
like
this storyline? Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the reason why I was so surprised.
He's had Spawn-esque powers. He's had some, let's just say, overdose type of powers, but nothing like that shown right here. This prismy type of cosmetic powers that are
like
limited.
Cosmic looking,
nothing to that degree that has been shown as of yet.
I mean, he's coming down like fucking like Century or like Superman or like like he's coming down with like this power
Miracle Man
level. Yeah, that looks like don't.
He
fuck
looks
with
like Firestorm. He kind of looks like Force.
A little bit, with his hair the way it is.
I'm not gonna lie. I have this on the projector. I'm watching the show on the projector.
Oh, nice.
Here, and so it's huge. This page. And it looks
huge. It's huge.
It's huge. But huge. It's funny because the one thing that Jim Downing did have when he was Spawn is the use of chains. Like he really had the chains in full control, and they were like better than what Al could use. And so we're seeing this, and he's got some kind of, I don't know what it is, like vine.
Are these the heavenly ribbons like Angela used to have?
Maybe like that's what
I kind of thought when I saw it. But I'm like, but if he's from Green World, I don't know how that all works, but it definitely gave me those vibes, like the ribbons that Angela used to have. But yeah, you're right. Now you mentioned it does kind of have that chain feel as well.
Yeah,
that he would have had when he was a Spawn.
Yeah,
think it back on Green World. Honestly, dude, I think and it's still an impactful moment now. I think it matters more now to touch base on this old issue, is when. I think it was somewhere like issue 27, 28, somewhere around there, where Spawn gets sent to Green World, and one of the angels is talking to him. They're telling him like, you are more important than you think that you are, and both sides. Not only does hell, there's a lot of things with hell, but there's a lot of heaven that you don't know. But your place amongst us will come. And you will
Great
tip
throwback.
the scales. And thinking about like all the Green World shit going on now, I think that issue way back then, I feel like the team just kind of was like catching up on old material, and I think they're like, oh, let's do something with Green World, or let's have them be a key player and revert back to some of those parts that Todd was referring to back in the day.
Right. No, that's a great observation.
Yep.
So that's why I was so surprised, not necessarily because it was Jim Downing, but because it was like Jim Downing in this form. And that's why I wanted to get on the panel with you guys and ask specifically, because I've missed a lot of issues along the way. So I didn't know if he had already had this kind of power set, if this was something brand new to the story. Now that I know it's something brand new to the story, I'm even more excited because I want to be like, all right, how did he get this power? Who gave it to him? Is he representing Green World? If he is, what's his purpose here? Now we finally get an answer from Green World in this war that the vampires are decisively winning. Now here's like maybe the first turning point against the vampires. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, I was like, there's so many questions. Is Lyra partnered up with him?
Oh,
is he overwatching Lyra? Did Wanda send him? Like, there's so many questions I have for just Jim Downing. I'm just curious where this is all, because Lyra has power, right?
Yeah, she still has her power. And we don't know what her power set, like how strong she is, but she definitely has some kind of power.
That's what I'm curious about. Like, is she part angel, part Green World? Like, That's the vibe I'm getting when I finally see the end of this book, because at first you're thinking, oh, it's part Spawn, part Angel, right? But now when you get to the end of the book, now you're thinking, oh, because if she was Angel and Demon, she would have no powers, but she has powers still. So how is that? So it makes sense to me, at least. She's got to be part of Green World somehow. So I'm assuming either her mother or father are part of the Green World, and that the other half is part of an angel. So
here's a thought, and it just popped in my head, and this could be ridiculous, but could she be Jim's daughter?
Yo,
snap!
You know what I'm saying?
Dang!
I had a dirty thought. I'm like, what if while he was in his coma, like whatever the mother is, kind
of right.
Knew the importance of Jim in this universe and got seated. If that's
I see
a word,
what you're saying.
And this is me being a little dirty, and I'm like, I shouldn't say this out loud, but now that you brought it up, I'm gonna fucking.
No, well, however it happened, like Jay's bringing up some really fantastic points, especially going back. We started the issue specifically talking about Wanda and how she is okay and telling Al to be, it's okay to move on, and she's like in a good place apparently. So if she is like in Green World, and she is kind of orchestrating this, and sending Jim to help, I'm like, that's cool. When you talk about how does Lyra, right? Is it Lyra? Right, Lyra. How Lyra fits into everything, and we know established in this issue now that she has parents on both sides, and she's kind of a hybrid. And now we get this big reveal of Jim Downing. I'm like, could there be some kind of connection here where maybe she's at least related to him, or straight up his daughter in some aspect? Like that's, interesting. I didn't even think about that until Jay was kind of talking about some stuff, and it just kind of dawned on me a little bit. I'm like, well, maybe.
Well, because there was a nurse that overlooked Jim Downing when he was in a coma.
Yep.
And she was part of that story arc. She was actually a significant piece of that story arc. So I'm just curious if, because he was a Spawn, and if she goes to the Green World, and then that's where, because they fell in love, right? So there's so much there now. Like,
interesting.
Like,
wasn't she killed?
Now, I think she was killed, was she killed?
Because she turned into a monster or some shit.
Yeah, so like I'm just curious if her death, like if she went like she's somehow part of the Green World now, and they had a daughter, which would be Lyra, which would make sense. Like there's so much there. Like, damn, dude.
Interesting.
You just threw another wrench into the.
Again, that's what makes the show, or the show, this current run so fun. Like I'm loving it, man. I am absolutely. It's keeping me intrigued. Like I can't wait till August. Damn, we're in July already.
August.
Oh no, it's coming in July. Sorry,
yeah.
I can't wait till the middle of July for issue 355 and see where we're going to go from here, because I'm really now excited to see what Jim Downing's all about now. Like I half expect him, the way he's come in to kind of just wreck the vampires and save Spawn and Lyra right now, and just because he seems like he's this powerful motherfucker, and I want to see if he is as powerful as he's looking, because I'm extremely excited about it. Like this was another perfect way to end the issue. So,
and the coolest thing is like when like his role in prior to 350, like visually, I just thought they were kind of like playing with like Miracle Man, like
right.
Because Tyler always that's probably has got a bug up his ass about that whole situation. So if he's got this one character already that's similar visually,
right? Oh,
just kind of look. It's not him.
It's the Angela stand-in. It's the Miracle Man.
Yeah.
Stand-in. No, I get it.
The Miracle Man is a Shazam character, but like it's comics. You just throw more powers.
Yeah.
I do have a bone to pick with the character and everything about the comic is the fact that you can't figure out what exactly happened in which issue number, because all the covers are always like posing, badass, flashy, cool shit, you know?
Oh no, yeah, I got you.
It's like, damn, dude, like I'm trying to figure out this event just to call back and like open it up again, but I don't know where it's at. Like, you know, and that's the only thing that sucks.
Is it this cool menacing face shot, or is it this cool arch standing over?
Yeah, what building column
I get you on that
leaning
for sure.
over? Like, you know, which rain issue? You know, you know, like, God, man, it's just that's the only thing. Like, dude, I want to, like, I try to like go back and like remember where some of these were, but I can't. I really can't.
Yeah.
Let me get into my studio real quick so I can redirect you guys to Aqua, which is going to be coming up here in a second.
Hey, did anybody get, or did it come out yet? The Cyan miniseries, did that come out yet?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to have to check it out now, especially since she made an appearance in this issue.
Yeah.
So
I know that book, what's his name? Monolith also came out recently.
Number 2 came out. Yeah, I still got to get that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, what an interesting character to do you know, side story off of.
That story, it's cool. I enjoy it. You know, it reminds me of like a 2B sci-fi movie, you know, like from like the 90s or whatnot. Like, it's cool. Like, it's got good art.
The inker definitely kills it. He knocks that book out of the park.
Yeah.
Hail the Lore says Zach is like, give me a sign. Yeah. Paulus Art says, yes, like Batman Hush Run by Jim Lee. I remember the issues because of the iconic storytelling on the covers. Yes, that's something we talked about when David Williams was on Ott and Stuff not too long ago, about just the difference between storytelling covers and then just the splashy covers. Spawn has always been kind of just the splashy pinups. You know, very rarely did you get a storytelling cover. You know, I get it though. You know, it does make it hard when you're going back in the back issues and you're pulling out a number and you just pull it up and it's just this really cool pose of Spawn. And you're like, well, that's awesome. I don't know what happens in this.
Where's the wolves?
Like, where are we at? Before we get out of here, and I guys, if you want to stick around for the second hour of the comic block, which is Appreciating Comic Book Art Live, we're going to be looking at Rob Liefeld's Battered Blood. And Kayla will be back talking about her vacation swimming with the sharks and avoiding being accosted by dolphins. So that'll be interesting.
Wait, what?
To get her back on here. Do a couple real quick shows. So Reaver Destroyer is my book. If you like Spawn, you like the stuff we look at on this channel, then you're gonna love this book. This is right up your alley of Spawn, the darkness, the dark kind of hero, evil. Oh, it's not really the Spawn heaven versus hell, but no, it's definitely something I think you're gonna like. It's got a very unique story, but it's definitely got those vibes. Check it out. It's my book. It's on sale now as far as Indiegogo goes. It's in demand. I am getting very, very close to sending this stuff to print, as long as I can overcome the issues I'm having setting up the print files, which is a whole nother story we'll talk about later. But check it out. I don't know why the page isn't really loading. That is what it is. Links are down below. We also have a book by Sean Ahrendt here. Where we at? If this loads, there we go. Cult Type 1. Links are down below for this as well. Again, you like anything on this channel, you're going to love these books. These are our odes to the 90s, right, Sean?
Yeah, man. It's our love. We're taking our love. It's not necessarily a 90s book. We're just taking our inspirations from it.
Exactly.
And kind of going from there. Look, I got Mayan and Aztec lore. I got cool armor-looking dudes. I got big battles. I got an emotional story between the father and the daughter, and uncle and the nephew. A little touching the feels. And you bought worse books. Let's be honest. I bought worse books. So don't be a bum.
I love that selling point.
There we go. I was waiting for that.
So don't be a bum.
Yeah. Let's see that counter hurry up. Like I'm almost at 10K. Yeah.
Let's get that to 10K. Let's roll.
I'm a consumer. I'm allowed to tell my opinion.
That's right. Yeah. All right, guys, in the chat, you're going to be redirected to Appreciating Comic Book Art Live. Is coming up next. We're going to bounce out of here, get to the other show. We're going to start immediately as I get in there, and we'll see you all in a second. So we're going to run the outro here. Guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys all in a second. Chat, we love you guys. As I say all the time, because this is what I do, be good to each other. Take care of one another. And as always, picture me naked. Talk to y'all later. Peace.
What the hell are you? Spawn.
Send me to hell, David. I'm here to return the favor.
I'm feeling strange, dropped dead in the grave. All alone, I rot in my own skin. So see if I stay, a choking restraint. The perfect flame lays down my own name. Girls rising. Girls rising. The stars remain, a deeper to see. I'm locked in, blind and responsible. I cling to the ones that remain. Exile without reason. The time to kill us, the freedom we feel this like someone is clear to blow. We're building the power, strengthening the arm. Yeah, building the wall. Welcome to your demonstration. Empty the door.